Hey, welcome to Graphic Policy Television, GPTV. Right in my hands is The Walking Dead Deluxe number 42. Now, for those who don't know, The Walking Dead Deluxe is the original Walking Dead comic reprinted, but this time in color. So it's pretty much a similar experience, except colorized. It's written by Robert Kirkman, art by Charlie Adlard, color by Dave McCaig, and lettering by Rus Wooton. Alright, so 42 is the Carol Fallout pre-all-hell breaking loose issue. At the end of the previous issue, Carol decided to off herself and get bitten on purpose by a zombie, so she's getting munched down on. This is the aftermath of all of that, including the shock to her daughter Sophia, the impact on other characters. And it's an interesting issue. I mean, we've got talk of suicide within. Obviously, varying opinions on that. Some of them are pretty crappy opinions. And as Robert Kirkman reminds us, is that just because a character says it doesn't mean the writer actually believes it. And it's an interesting read. I think it doesn't show off so much, I think, the shock of Carol's death as it does the kind of, everyday acceptance of the death that's going on. Like, it really comes off, there's initial shock, but, after a while, everyone's kind of just the, like, well, another person's died, and death is kind of inevitable, and it's sad, but, like, it just feels like there's at a point where people are kind of coming more to accept the norm, which is interesting because I've discussed in the beginning of this, especially in that first arc, that I think it's really interesting going back and reading The Walking Dead in the age of COVID. When it first was released, we had economic security, insecurity was the big thing, plus fear of terrorism. And now it's a totally different world. Yes, there's economic insecurity, and really just a breakdown of the economic system as a whole, but we're also dealing with COVID, and we're at a point in the disease where we're at it's acceptable, let's just move on, like, oh, so-and-so's got it, okay. This almost complacency in a weird way, and you kind of get, at least I get a vibe in this issue, they're kind of at that point as well, where they're okay with the walkers up against the fence. They're okay with, not okay, but, they're not quite as impacted by Carol's death. I feel like that's a similar, like, complacency we're at with COVID. And it's just really interesting that it's been a while where there hasn't really been a lot of comparison between the two, but we hit it at this issue, and we're definitely kind of, I think, in a similar spot for different reasons. So to me, that's really interesting. We also at the end get the beginning of the attack by the governor, and going to go into that craziness. So things are about to, like, really kind of kick off with this next issue. As I said, this issue is very similar to the previous release. There is extra from Kirkman himself going over and kind of discussing his thoughts about the issue and kind of his genesis as to where we're at with it. He does little creator's notes with every single issue. This is interesting as well in that, there's some of the problems I've had with the series, or not really problems, the things I've wondered about the series is how the colorization would impact it. And we've seen in the beginning, to me, it doesn't. The blood and all that doesn't go over the top to the point that it's distracting. It should be really interesting, this next arc and some of the future arcs, to see if that still holds up. But so far, it hasn't been completely over the top like I was expecting. We'll see where that all goes. As I keep on saying with all this, like, it's amazing to go back and really fun to go back and reread the series and kind of remind it. It's been such a long time since I've read some of these issues, pretty much all these issues. So it's fun going back and reading it one at a time as opposed to maybe a trade. So if you've never read The Walking Dead, I think this is a fantastic opportunity to do so. And, for fans who want to maybe re-examine or go back and see it, I read it, this is another way of doing it. I think it's great as well. Out pretty much every other week or so. Maybe slight delays, but generally every other week that it's being released. So you can get this issue now out in comic shops. We got a link beneath this video. Open your zip code, tell the comic shops near you. No shop, no problem. We do have some links where you can purchase your own. There'll be affiliate links, so we do get a small percentage by doing that. You'll support our site, so thank you. If just watching our video, support us, so thank you for that as well. If you're into comics, if you're into Skybound Image, check us out every single day at graphicpolicy.com. We're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Tumblr, all at Graphic Policy, keeping it nice and consistent. Until next time, keep reading those comics, and keep it geeky.
Hey, thanks for watching the previous video from Graphic Policy Television. Just by watching, you help support our site. Thank you so much. Now, if you're watching these videos, you probably care about geeky things like movies, television, comic books, toys, games, video games, you name it. You can go and subscribe right now to our YouTube channel to stay in touch and catch all the new videos, or check out our website at graphicpolicy.com. There's a nice link on this end of the video. But as always, thank you for watching. Keep on rocking and keep it geeky.